AMALearning, you're about to. Specification, point 4.2. Explain Charles Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection. To successfully answer any GCSE questions linked to this topic, you will need to able to apply your understanding of the key stages of natural selection to new scenarios. Let's focus on Darwin's theory of natural selection and how it connects to the concept of evolution. Evolution is a change in the inherited characteristics of a population over time through a process of natural selection, which may result in the formation of a new species. Let's focus on Darwin's theory of natural selection and how it connects to the concept of evolution. What is natural selection? Natural selection is the process where individuals with traits better suited to their environment are more likely to survive, reproduce, and pass on these advantageous traits. Over time, this leads to evolution. The 5 key stages of natural selection. If you AMAL these 5 stages, you will be able to answer any question linked to evolution and natural selection. Stage 1 is a change in the environment. Stage 2 is variation. Differences exist between individuals within a population due to genetic and environmental factors. For example, in a population of moths, some are dark-colored and others are light-colored. Stage 3 is competition. Resources like food, shelter, and mates are limited, creating competition among individuals. For example, predators are more likely to hunt moths that stand out. Stage 4 is survival, or survival of the fittest. Individuals with advantageous traits, such as camouflage, have a higher chance of survival. Stage 5 is inheritance of traits or reproduction. Beneficial traits are passed on to the next generation, gradually increasing their frequency in the population. Here is an exam-style question. Explain how natural selection led to the evolution of the peppered moth during the Industrial Revolution. 4 marks. This is a model answer. During the Industrial Revolution, the soot darkened the tree bark. Variation existed in moth color. There were darker and white-colored moths. The moths competed for food and mates, with darker moths camouflaging better against the soot-covered trees. Light-colored moths were more visible to predators and were eaten more often. Dark-colored moths survived and reproduced, passing on their traits. Over time, the population evolved to have more dark-colored moths. Why would this model answer achieve full marks? 4 out of 4. It would get full marks because it contains all of the 5 stages of natural selection within the answer. It mentions the change in the environment, yellow. During the Industrial Revolution, soot darkened the tree bark. It mentions variation in green. Variation existed in moth color. There were darker and white-colored moths. It mentions competition, grey. The moths competed for food and mates. It mentions survival of the fittest, blue, with darker moths camouflaging better against the soot-covered trees. Light-colored moths were more visible to predators and were eaten more often. Finally, it mentions inheritance of characteristics, dark green. Dark-colored moths survived and reproduced, passing on their traits. Over time, the population evolved to have more dark-colored moths. In summary, the example of the peppered moth connects Darwin's theory of natural selection to observable changes in populations over a short time, demonstrating how traits could possibly evolve due to environmental pressures. Let's apply what we have learnt to a past paper question. This 4-mark question is asking us to explain how natural selection could have caused an increase in beak length because of the use of bird feeders. We know from our learning that to successfully answer any question linked to natural selection, we must link the answer to the 5 stages of natural selection. Number 1. Change in the environment, which in this case is the bird feeder with narrow gaps. Number 2. Variation. The great tits have different sized beaks and therefore show variation. Number 3. Competition. The great tits are competing for food, and therefore the bird feeders provide a selection pressure. Number 4. Survival of the fittest. The great tits with the longer beaks are more likely to feed, survive, and reproduce. Number 5. Inheritance of characteristics. Beneficial characteristics are passed on to the next generation, gradually increasing their frequency in the population. If we compare our learning to the mark scheme, we would have achieved marks for the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth bullet points, so we would have got full marks. Our animations were designed by experienced UK-trained teachers. We have been achieving amongst the best results in the country for many years, and we decided it was time to share our success. Have you just AMALed and want to AMAL some more? Don't forget to like, subscribe and share to keep yourself up to date with the latest uploads. AMALearning, you just did.